Hi folks, as you were recently, I did a review of the Brother 1508 knife, which was their first slip joint, completely UK legal to carry knife. Its predecessor was the 1507, and I picked one of these up at the same time. Unfortunately, this is a lockback knife, and that means you can't carry it in the UK without a good reason, and we'll go through that. I'll say something about that in a minute, but it is a nice knife, so I had to have it for the collection, even if I can't necessarily carry it every day. This is another $30 knife, so it's very, very good value for money. As I say, it's a lockback knife, because even with my dodgy hands up, that makes it relatively easy to open because the spring pressure is much lighter than on a slip joint. Maybe I could argue that's my good reason for carrying it, I don't know. But we have carbon fibre scales. I don't think it's available in any other material. I was looking for a bone version or anything, but I couldn't see one. We have steel liners, steel back spring. The fit and finish is pretty good. It's not quite as good as my 1508, but when I say it's not as good, what I really mean is when you get really picky, you could argue that there's a little bit of gapping there. But remembering this is still a $30 knife, the quality of the carbon fibre is what struck me as being particularly good. It's very nice, very nicely finished, no loose ends, nicely hafted. We have metal caps on the end of it as well. We have satin finished blade. On there we have, sorry, my dexterity is getting worse, I think. 1507 being the number. Brother, one knife, one life. And I take it those are two brothers. Not quite sure what that is, but there we are. We have a long pull, we have a satin finish, we have a nice cut swedge, very much in the Lanny's clip style, very much in the original case Lanny's clip style in actual fact, except that this is a lockback. One of the things that I do like about it though, and it's a huge attraction to these things, although it's a traditional style knife, as well as the carbon fibre, we have a VG10 steel, so it's not just ordinary 220 full 40A or C70 or whatever steel. We actually have quite a good quality VG10 steel, which is Japanese steel of decent quality. It should hold an edge well. I haven't really used it, so I haven't blunted it. It certainly came very sharp. I could slice paper up with it for you, but I just think it's a bit dull. In terms of the action of it, one could say one has to be a little cautious of it. Yeah. So yeah, it shuts firmly enough, closes firmly enough. It's not quite as droppy as I thought it was. The other brother I have is much, much smoother. But then again, it's also quite good for cutting my fingers with. In terms of comparisons, and this is where one has to ask the question of how you would justify this knife as being required to have a lockback when, for example, I have another Lanny's clip, which is a slip joint, which is the same size, has an S35 VN blade, it's carbon fibre, this one in titanium rather than stainless steel, but when you could have a knife like this, what's the reason that you need to have a lockback that's convincing enough to a judge that it's necessary that you have, or that you have a good reason for carrying it? Other than you think the law's an ass, which is not a good reason. The only other real difference is this one is 6-7 times the price. But there are other Lanny's clips available that aren't 7 times the price. This one obviously being JE made. These are both Chinese, incidentally. So they do actually, they're more in common than you might think. This is, I think, what would probably be called a semi-custom or a mid-tech knife, in that these are hand-finished by the maker, JE. Now, I don't know what its actual name is, but apparently it sounds like the letters JE, but it's in, it's obviously Chinese. And there are differences to this, and you can see when you look closely, it is easy to understand why this is a much more expensive knife. Fit and finish on this is superb. The blade is wonderful. I mean, there's lots but I'm not here to tell you about why this is such a good knife. What I'm actually really trying to say is that this, for a knife that's a seventh of the price, is a really good knife for the value for money terms. In terms of another an obvious size comparator that just useful for everybody to be able to see, this is with a 93mm Victorinox Pioneer, and you can see it's similar size. The critical measure in the UK, of course, is that it has to have a 3-inch blade. Now this actually does come in just on the 3-inch mark, and the cutting edge is just under 3 inches, so you're absolutely fine with this in terms of length, but it's still a lockback, so it doesn't make a jot of difference. It's a nice knife. It's not super heavy, it's not super light, it's just a nice, would be a nice knife to carry in your pocket. And if you've got a place you can carry one of these, or if you're just carrying it, I mean, I'm in lockdown, I've been carrying knives like my 940 because I can, because I'm not going out anywhere. I haven't been out anywhere for weeks, unfortunately. But anyway, that's a little bit of a buy you buy. Anyway, I think it's a very nice knife. It's available from AliExpress, places like that. It took a little bit longer to come, and it was opened by customs on the way in, or border force as they call themselves these days. The 1508 wasn't opened, but the 1507 was. It took a week longer to come as a result. I take it because somebody just had it sitting on their desk waiting to look at it. But they're both really quite good knives, and they're good value for money. And certainly, if you can't afford a JE made Lanny's clip, this is certainly a very nice alternative. I actually probably like this long pull better than the hole in the JE made. I do quite like this kick on the JE made because it has this one advantage of it's like a copperhead. You lose that kick of the blade, which is one of the traditional drawbacks of a traditional shaped knife. Anyway, that's enough for that. I think this is a nice knife. It's one I can recommend. The action isn't as smooth as it could be. It's not as smooth as some of the earlier Brother knives, but I think that would wear in with a bit of use. Anyway, if you like this stuff, please tick the like box, and if you're interested in more of this stuff, then please subscribe. There is more coming. I've got a few other knives that I haven't shown yet, and they will be coming out over the next few days or weeks anyway. Okie doke, bye.